While Mitchell Trubisky was a top 5 pick in the NFL draft, when many people think of North Carolina quarterbacks, they think of Sam Howell. As a freshman in 2019, Howell set the college football world on fire and became one of the best young quarterbacks in the nation. Over the last 3 years, Sam has torched defenses, led North Carolina to a ton of wins, and will now likely be a first-round pick in the 2022 NFL Draft. But what is next for North Carolina? Is there a better quarterback in the waiting, or will they go back to being somewhat mediocre? That is a big question mark going into 2022, but in today's video, I'm going to talk about the guy who's going to replace Sam Howell, who he is, and why maybe he could even be better than Sam Howell was. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. So you're probably wondering who the subject of today's video is, and it is none other than current North Carolina redshirt freshman quarterback, Drake Maye. Maybe the Maye name sounds familiar, as if you are a college basketball fan, you likely remember the North Carolina buzzer beater against Kentucky. That happened in March Madness, and the guy who hit it was named Luke Maye. That is the brother of Drake Maye, and combining that with the fact that his dad was also the starting quarterback in the 1980s for North Carolina, the Maye family loves Tar Heel Blue. While Luke was at North Carolina, Drake eventually became a star quarterback. He transferred to Myers Park High School right before his sophomore year, and he joined a football program loaded with Division I talent. Maye was a star from the minute he arrived on campus, and made that stadium the place to be on Friday nights. How good was he? Well, as a junior, he passed for over 3,500 yards and 50 touchdowns with only 2 interceptions. Also, keep in mind he sat much of the second half of games because they were up so much. The dude was literally a cheat code. His go-to wide receiver was current Texas A&M young star wide receiver Moose Mohammed, and apparently Drake was insanely hard on himself, so he had everything going for him. He was incredibly talented, motivated, and had all the tools to be a star college quarterback. So it was no shock when he eventually narrowed his choices to Clemson and Alabama. North Carolina was absent from the list. He said he didn't really give a lot of thought to the Tar Heels, who had gone 5-14 in the final 2 years under Larry Fedora. After several visits to Tuscaloosa, Maye eventually committed to Alabama over Clemson and said this, quote, "It's the winning mentality. I went down there in the spring and then for camp in the summer. I loved it. I sat down with Coach Saban and talked about the winning mentality. It's all about winning down there. To have Coach Saban say in 2021 that I was a big target, it meant a lot to me. I just felt, why not Bama? It's the best place in the country." Well, the blue chip quarterback was all set to go to Alabama, but then Bryce Young and Sam Howell happened. The 5-star quarterback Bryce Young from Mater Dei flipped from USC to Alabama, and Sam Howell put up big numbers in a bowl win in year 1 under Mac Brown. After seeing what Howell had done to the Tar Heels offense and what Mac had done in 1 year, plus all the family history, Maye slowly started to shift towards going to North Carolina, and he told his high school coach he was going to flip. What his coach said was gold. Quote, "You're the one that's going to college, not me, but I'm not calling Coach Saban. You're going to have to make that call." Maye said that Saban handled the situation perfectly, but he did try to convince him to take official visits to both schools before making a final decision. Drake told Saban his mind was made up though, and the call was over pretty much from there. He was now a Tar Heel. His dad was all in favor of it. He said, quote, "I went to North Carolina, my wife did, my older son did, Luke, and also Bo is a freshman there right now. We're all from North Carolina. This is where he belongs and where he needs to be." He was now going to be a heel and was going to have a huge impact on Mac Brown's program. According to 24/7 Sports, Maye was a 4-star recruit, the number 9 quarterback and the 56th best player in the class of 2021. So what would his impact be at North Carolina? Well, he would enroll early, and because of everything that went on in 2020, he'd have to miss his senior season. It got moved from the fall to the spring, and this was extremely difficult on him. He turned heads pretty much right away in Chapel Hill though, as former UNC linebacker Shaquille Rashad had this to say, quote, "I may be jumping the gun here, but when does the Drake Maye Heisman campaign start? 2022 or 2023? That was some high praise after last year's spring game, but his role would be a backup position. He'd beat out Jacoby Criswell for the spot behind Sam Howell, but in the one time he played all year, he went 7 of 10 for 89 yards and a touchdown, with nearly 40 yards on the ground as well. Now as we look ahead towards the fall, he'll be in a quarterback battle with Jacoby Criswell and a current freshman by the name of Connor Harrell. He was the Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Alabama, and according to On3 Sports, he's one of the top quarterbacks in the nation, but according to 24/7 Sports Composite, he's only a 3-star. As I've said many times, Sam Howell has been a star, and he has high praise for the future after him. He had this to say, "Both Jacoby and Drake are talented guys, and they work so hard. they watch a ton of film, and they really prepare like they've been starting, and that's probably what's most impressive. They both had really good years in practice, and they're doing a lot of really good things. In my eyes, Drake is in the driver's seat to win the starting job, and I think he could be a superstar in Chapel Hill this upcoming fall. Criswell is a little bit more athletic, but I think overall Maye will be the better fit for this offense, and is somewhat similar to Howell's game, so I am very curious to see how Drake will play, and if he could play like he did in high school, then he could maybe be better than Sam Howell. But what do you guys think? If you're a North Carolina fan, what do you think of Sam Howell and Drake Maye? If you're a fan of another school who's an up-and-coming player I could talk about in my next video, and also if you have any sort of topic you want me to cover in a video, be sure to let me know down below. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe, smash that like button if you want to support the channel, turn on post notifications, and check out all my other videos on the end screen. I hope to see you guys again soon, but until next time, peace.